Hello and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're talking about a really powerful solution for companies that are navigating, well, a tricky transition. We're diving into the fractional CMO.
All right, let's just jump right into a scenario that, probably keeps founders up at night. Your CMO, the person steering your growth engine, has just quit. Boom. Gone. So, now what? Because, let's be honest, if you don't act fast, this is what's next. Total chaos. Projects just stop. The team has no idea which way is up. And the worst part? Stagnation. All that incredible momentum you worked so hard to build, it just starts to evaporate.
This whole situation creates what's often called a leadership void. And it's this super critical moment, right? It's a fork in the road, where your next move can either get things back on track or just make the chaos even worse.
And this is the classic dilemma, isn't it? What do? Do you rush to hire a new full-time CMO? I mean, that can take 3, even 6 months. Do you just pause everything and lose all that momentum? Or maybe you hand it off to someone else, like your VP of sales, who's already drowning in their own work. Honestly, none of those sound great, do they?
But what if there was another way? A better way. This is exactly where the fractional CMO comes into play, offering a really strategic alternative to bridge this exact kind of gap. So what is a fractional CMO, really? Don't think of them as just some consultant who sends you a PowerPoint. No. Think of them more like a seasoned marketing exec that you get on loan. They step right in to become that strategic bridge, connecting what you were doing with where you need to go next. And this right here is the absolute key. They don't just sit back and observe. They roll up their sleeves. They're in your meetings, they're in your Slack channels, and they lead with a sense of ownership. They are an active, real part of your team from day one.
Okay, so how exactly do they do it? How do they turn that chaos we were talking about into real clarity? And, actual progress? Well, it all comes down to a very clear, disciplined process.
Any great fractional CMO really boils it down to 3 core actions. First, they diagnose the gaps. They figure out where the real problems are. Second, once they know that, they refocus the strategy on the things that will actually move the needle. And finally, they act as the strategic glue, making sure marketing, sales, and product are all working together instead of in their own silos. And the speed is what's so incredible here. We're talking about 1 to 2 weeks, and they are doing a deep dive diagnosis. This isn't just a quick look around. Nope, they're auditing the entire funnel, digging into your ad spend, and talking to your key people to find out what's really going on. And the result? You get this crystal clear picture of what's working, what's broken, and what to fix first.
That initial diagnosis then maps directly onto a clear 90-day plan. The first month, it's all about that audit and getting some quick wins on the board to build confidence. Month 2, you're refining the plan and getting into a solid execution rhythm. And by month 3, you're not just treading water anymore. You're deploying real campaigns and seeing real, measurable growth. You're back in the game, and often with more clarity than you had before.
Okay, this all sounds pretty amazing, right? But is it the right move for your company? How does this stack up against the other options?
So let's just compare them side by side. With a fractional CMO, your time to impact is almost immediate. We're talking 1 or 2 weeks, not the 3 to 6 months it takes to hire someone full-time. The cost is also way more flexible and generally lower. So for those lean teams that are in a state of change, this combination of speed, top-tier expertise, and cost-effectiveness, it's just a perfect fit. A full-time CMO, that makes more sense when you're a big, mature organization. And an interim head, well, that's really just a temporary Band-Aid.
So let's get super specific. If you find yourself in any of these situations, you should seriously be thinking about a fractional CMO. The obvious one, of course, is your CMO just left. But think about other big moments, like you're getting ready to fundraise and you need your growth story to be absolutely airtight. Or you're trying to break into a new market. Or maybe things just feel disconnected. Your marketing team just feels chaotic. A fractional CMO brings that structure to get everyone rowing in the same direction again. At the end of the day, this is about more than just filling an empty chair. It's about rethinking what leadership can even look like in a fast-moving modern company. And the proof, well, It's in the numbers. Just look at this. For one early-stage SaaS company, bringing in a fractional CMO meant a 41% jump in marketing qualified leads. And that was in just 60 days.
For a direct-to-consumer brand that was kind of stuck, it translated to an 18% rise in retention revenue in just 1 quarter.
And for a fintech company getting ready for their Series B, it meant a 25% improvement in their customer acquisition cost and brand consistency. Think about how much stronger that makes their case to investors.
So here's the bottom line. This is what it all comes down to. You're not just paying for someone's time. You are buying critical outcomes. You're buying clarity when everything feels like chaos. You're buying real leadership when there's a void. And you're buying velocity, the ability to make smarter decisions way faster.
And all this leaves us with a much bigger question to ponder. As businesses have to be more and more agile to survive, maybe the future of leadership isn't fixed and permanent. Maybe it's flexible. Maybe it's about deploying that high-impact expertise exactly when and where you need it the most. Definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining us for The Explainer.